How's it going, creeps? Back again for another lovely Monday to speak with you about another wonderful episode of the Venture Brothers. This one entitled The Terminus Mandate, Episode 8 of Season 7. Alright, let's get right down to it, into brass tacks. The episode begins in an Italian restaurant where Dr. Girlfriend and Red Death have arrived in disguise to have a secret sit-down with a member of the Peril Partnership. Phantom Limb seems to have missed the memo since he's already seated inside in full arch regalia and is instantly told to change by Dr. Girlfriend and Red Death, who don't have to wait long for their guest, Blind Rage, to arrive, who tells them that the Peril Partnership is trying to take the guild for a ride and some bribe money, threatening to stir up some trouble if the guild doesn't comply to their demands, to which they have no patience or time. Telling the blind villain, who is hilariously voiced by Brendan Small, really nice to hear him have a little comeback. They tell him to fuck off outside of the restaurant, so he leaves. Meanwhile, Rusty is at the same restaurant at a table across the room with Night Dick. He laughed at the name. Who has dug up some dirt on a black widow named Novia, who Rusty's obviously interested in because it is assured that he'll have sex even if she would kill him, because he's apparently that desperate at this point. Because he hasn't had a woman since Hank's graduation. Alright, well, later on after this, in the asteroid base for the guild, most of the council members, not Dr. Girlfriend, vote to pay up to the Peril Partnership. But Red Death and, like I said, Dr. Girlfriend want none of that. Dr. Girlfriend then goes through the guild charter and discovers a rule the Sovereign ignored during his reign. That if you sit on the guild council, that you can't be an arching villain anymore. You have to kind of sit back and let everything do what it's going to do and kind of just supervise and clean up. So Ward and Watch appear with envelopes that contain everyone's final arch, and each are promised to be something very special. Dr. Z naturally gets Action Johnny, who's now in who's in a rehab center from his latest addiction in Florida. Phantom Limb goes off against Hunter Gathers, which literally ends up turning into a fucking dick measuring contest. And what might actually be one of my favorite... no, this one's not my favorite, but maybe second favorite. Radical Left goes against Far Right. So he's apparently... Radical Left and Far Right are two different villains that fucking split off from each other. So he spends his time fucking arching himself. And the way that he does it is by playing a game of Clue against himself. In a house that reminded me a lot of the place that Two-Face lived, his fucking hideout in Batman Forever. Because, I mean, well, I guess Radical Left and Far Right are both very Two-Face-like. So, this leads to my favorite one, the funniest, definitely funniest one, is Red Mantle and Dragoons arching. After an evening of eating some fucking, Hungry Man dinners and watching Downton Abbey on TiVo, and Lady Violet, you are such a delicious bitch, and you have my heart. They have no fucking desire to go out arching anymore. They are so old that they won't even open it up because they're too afraid to see what's going to what they're gonna have to do. Because if you think about it, neither of them has done anything. They're not even seen moving around really in any of the episodes. They're just too old. So then finally, after they're done binging all this Downton Abbey, they learn with some great relief that all their former adversaries are dead, so they outlived everyone. So they have that to be happy about, and B, they don't have to fucking do anything. They can stay in and marathon some more Downton Abbey. So while all this is happening, Rusty is still trying his hardest to get Brock and the boys to help him practice his date with Novia so he can sleep with her without being killed. It was a lot like... when they were training Billy and Pete a few episodes back so that they wouldn't get killed by St. Cloud, which obviously was not an issue. Okay, so most importantly to the story is the fact that Novia has her date with Rusty at the Ventec building, because Dr. Girlfriend is given Novia as her final arch, because when she was starting out as Lady Au Pair, she went up against Novia, who back then apparently was a wedding-themed hero and stopped Dr. Girlfriend and the Moppets from, what was it? I think it was the Hope Diamond that they were trying to steal. Dr. Girlfriend gets back into her old costume, and I'm sure to everyone's delight, rather than getting new Moppets, 21 goes as her Moppet proxy to go on this final arch. But she ends up finding herself so overcome with emotion when she sees how great her old enemy looks that she just, like, falls to fucking pieces, and she thinks that she can't arch her, but she ends up stealing her wallet, so I guess that does end up counting as an arch after all. But, obviously, it didn't proceed as planned. That said, not every council member agrees to fucking pack it all up and, stop being an arch, such as Wide Whale, who finds that he has way too many, long-standing grudges to retire himself as a villain, and we didn't actually see what decision Dr. Girlfriend makes, because the Monarch is very upset that she is hanging up the tights and that he's not going to be able to work with her anymore. Probably mostly because she's finally officially going to be his actual boss. But I guess we're going to get more of that in the finale. Figure all that out. See if Wide Whale sits on the table, if Dr. Girlfriend sits on the table. But, this episode gave us so much in-depth insight into our fucking characters that made me afraid that it was going to be the finale. Oh, man, I almost forgot to mention another amazing one with fucking Red Death's fucking final arch, which he completely ignores whoever the fuck it was that was inside. This is definitely going to lead up to the finale, too, I think, with whatever is ramping up for the Peril Partnership. Because he just took the fucking envelope and whoever was in there and threw it away and just went straight for Blind Rage because he was being such a fucking arrogant prick earlier and just fucking bashes him in the face. So, when Blind Rage awakens, he is tied to a fucking train track, and then fucking Red Death delivers this amazing speech because it's Clancy Brown that does his voice, fucking Kurgan, Mr. Krabs. Who could be better as Red Death? I think that's half the reason I love him so much. And his design is fucking amazing. But he gives this amazing speech about the gentleman villain of old. Like fucking Simon Legree, because he's, the guy would twiddle his mustache after tying the chick up to the railroad tracks like he's doing to Blind Rage right now. And he leaves him. He leaves him there saying, oh, is the train going to come on this track? Is it going to be the next track? Either way, I'll leave you. So, obviously, Blind Rage got ran over by a train, and that's a very clear message to be sent to the Peril Partnership that the Guild is not to be fucked with. I can't wait to see where this is going to lead to. Well, I know I didn't really mention much about Rusty's subplot and his date with Novia, because really the only thing that it really adds to in the overarching story of this episode, other than some good jokes, is the fact that Novia goes to the Ventec building, which is where Dr. Girlfriend fucking sees her and tells her she looks so good. I can't even do this. You look so good. So, it really, Rusty obviously doesn't get laid. He doesn't die. And I guess also in that it introduced Novia, who I think may play a part to come from here on out, because they showed her as that wedding-themed hero, and now she's turned to a Black Widow. So maybe there's something in that transition, that maybe there's some kind of a story in there. So, like I said, in the date story, it's not a super dense side story, but it's a charming and hilarious one nonetheless. Rusty doesn't get laid, and the most interesting new theory, I think, to speculate on is that Dr. Girlfriend is pregnant. Because at the top of the episode, Blind Rage mentions how her breasts are swelling and popping out, even though they weren't. Well, he's blind and was sensing it. And her emotional reaction to fucking Novia. You look so good, I can't even do this. So, I think that there's probably a good chance that she is with child, and I think that you'll probably agree with me on that one. Thankfully, we still have 2 more episodes left of what may be the best Venture Bros season thus far. And there are plenty more little threads which have been similarly hinted at, but ignored kind of in true Venture fashion, like I was mentioning before, the triangle between Triana, Dean, and Hank. We haven't gotten much on that. The Peril Partnership, that's been steadily building up the last couple episodes, but we'll see. Unless we actually do finally get a finale where everything they've built up to is resolved, which definitely is a possibility, since there have been no mentions of any work being done on Season 8 thus far, meaning that they must have some form of closure at the end of this season if they don't know where they're going to go with the next one. But who knows, maybe they're lying. But last season they said that 7 was going to, already being made, and we didn't really get that finale, but we knew that 7 was being made, so I don't think that they're really going to leave us on too much of a cliffhanger, since they're not even saying that 8 is in production, at all. Well, I guess that's all I really got to say on this one, creeps. Until tomorrow, I hope you join me for my podcast episode on Panos Cosmatos. Be a nice, double feature on Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy. So I hope to see you then. If not, I guess I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place for another Venture video. Doc out, creeps.